On the next play, Hollinson runs in. Touchdown. So 4.5 minutes left. Hollinson, hand off up the middle, and he falls in. He's going to hand it off to J.J. Hollinson. First play, Hollinson breaks free to the right side. Pushed out of bounds. So Carmichael, he's going to hand off. Hollinson cuts upfield. He's got nothing but end zone in front of him. It's a touchdown. Just like that, in a blink of an eye, J.J. Hollinson takes off. And with that carry, he does have the school rushing record for a season, 1,644. Welcome to the offseason after a great season number 3 for the CTU Lions. And today, we will check out the national championship. We had a chance to be in this game, but this game is led by two great quarterbacks in Scott DeAngelis and Eric McLaurin. McLaurin was an award winner. He won the 2023 O'Brien and Maxwell Awards after throwing for 32 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. He threw 36 last season as well, and then he also ran 10 touchdowns on his own. Iowa touts the number 1 defense. The Raging Cajun have the number 1 scoring offense. So this is going to be an interesting game. Will it be the defense or the offense who prevails in this one? We start this one out in the first quarter. Here is McLaurin with a throw to the left side. That is A.J. Clement, who was one of his 1,000-yard receivers on the year. On a third down, here is McLaurin going down. That one will be Jacob Jack for the first sack of the game, and Iowa settles for 3 on their first drive. But in the second quarter, here is McLaurin throwing down the right sideline, finding Clement again. It's a gain of 49 yards, 3 for 70 so far here in the Natty. And here is McLaurin running the option, pitching out to left side. Iowa's always got that great running game. Derek Lewis picks up a first down on that carry. McLaurin throws to the end zone. This one's going to be caught in the back of the end zone. It's Jeff Sims for the touchdown, 8 of 9 to start this game. McLaurin is such an efficient player, but here in the end of the second quarter, here's a pick by the Raging Cajun defense. They definitely needed that turnover right there, and they keep it within a 2-score lead going into halftime. But here is McLaurin. After the half, he's scrambling, picking up a gain of 16. He can do it as well with his legs as he can do with his arms. And now here he is at the 42. Here's a throw to the right side. That's caught by Clement again, his favorite target. And he's got 5 receptions in this one. Now across the 50. This is a 4th and 9. Throw up the seam. It's a touchdown. Franklin Morris wide open. And McLaurin has only missed 3 passes in this game. And with that one, he passes the school record for passing yards in a season. But here is Louisiana. This number 1 scoring offense led by Scott DeAngelis could not get anything going in this one. Here's a short pass. That number 1 defense is hounding. There's a tackle, and it comes down to this. A 4th and 3. DeAngelis, he's just going to give it off to the back, and it's going to be stopped. This Iowa defense takes care of business in the Natty, and Iowa will take this one home. And it was an absolute dominant game by Iowa, and the Hawkeyes seem to always do well in dynasties. They capture a Natty in this one. Now we check out B.J. Johnson, our former quarterback, to see how he's doing. He's going to be in the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl versus Arizona State. He led the nation in passer rating this year, 186.7. He was amazing here as a graduate senior. He will definitely be going to the league. A lot of these guys that you do see here, they will be in my next Madden series, so Madden 23. So watch out for that when you are sticking around for that series. No idea who I'm going to do yet, but it's going to be interesting. Here is B.J. Johnson in his final college game, throwing across the middle. This one will be stopped. Willie Davis for a gain of 8. And right away, North Carolina not having very much success in the first quarter. But here in the second, they pick it up a little bit. Here's a throw to the sideline. This is his tight end, Dwayne Rich, for the first down. under center now, handing off to the freshman. This will be a first down. Josh Bennett goes for a gain of 13 yards. North Carolina, remember, was a top 10 team at one point. Here's a throw to the corner of the end zone, and B.J. Johnson just misses one. 3 field goals all the way to the fourth quarter. But here's a throw to the left side, and Arizona State will answer back late in the fourth quarter to the 5, tackled at the 3. So here comes Arizona State. The Sun Devils come back in this one. Here's a 3rd and goal carry up the middle. Andrew Whaley 3 yards out. And now it is just a 2-point game. Arizona State gets the ball back again. North Carolina's offense cannot do anything. Here's a throw, and that one's caught up the seam. It's a gain of 42. They are inside a field goal range. They can hold it and kick the game winner if they really wanted to, but they're going to go for the touchdown. Here's a throw across the middle. Almost picked off. Greg Williams with the diving stop. And now they settle for 3, but they give 53 seconds back to B.J. Johnson. Can the quarterback do it here? Here's a throw down the left side. That one's caught. It's going to be a touchdown. Marcus Chandler, who led the nation in receiving yards and touchdowns, gets his first catch of the game with under a minute to go. And B.J. Johnson goes for 2 and makes it a 17-10 game. Save the best for last. Here is one last heave at the end zone. Arizona State will lose this one, and B.J. Johnson will walk off his college career with a big walk-off victory here. And I'm happy for B.J. Johnson. The ending that this left for him, he's going to be a good quarterback. Can't wait to see what he does at the next level. So now we hop back into CTU's season. Kentrell Kraft broke many records, receptions in a career. David Potter actually broke B.J. Johnson's record last year with passing touchdowns with 35 this year over B.J. Johnson's 28, and then also shattered his passing yardage record as well. B.J. Johnson didn't have it, but he shattered the school record, I should say. Now, the hottest coaching job after the season was Ohio State's head coach, and I was for sure that Iowa's offensive coordinator would get it because of that year he just had. He did not. So Ohio State will have a new head coach. No more Ryan Day, who was let go. Lane Kiffin goes to Buffalo. So it looks like he got fired from his job and ends up with the Buffalo job. Lincoln Riley has been with Toledo. He gets extended and he will stay at Toledo. I'm surprised he did not leave for a bigger job. And CTU will lose our offensive and defensive coordinators. They will end up with head coaching jobs, one at Tulsa. So that is very, very interesting. Going to Tulsa, he will get to carve out his career there. And then Matt Feeney ends up going to Iowa State. He will replace Scott Frost at Iowa State. So we will get to face him, I believe, this year as well. We do have 2 transfer requests now. Just for the sake of this series, I'm going to allow transfers. I've already allowed Chris Washington from Duke, who's had an impact on us so far. Lawrence Young is pretty good, 76 overall. He will obviously have to sit a year. And then Phil Hall, we definitely need offensive linemen, so we will accept him as well. And now we hop into the sad part of this episode, letting go of these guys who have meant so much for us, especially Jamarcus Lexington. He's been the starter for 3 years, and you just see the production. It went up every year, 1 sack to 4 sack to 7 sacks. He is a projected 2nd-round pick, so he is going to be an excellent steal for somebody in the draft. Kentrell Kraft, obviously the record breaker, 3,300 receiving yards, 20 touchdowns, over 224 receptions in his career. It was amazing. He had 2 1,000-yard receivers for us. I thought he would be, a bigger numbers guy, but he was just a very, very good receiver. I'm sad to see him leave. Mike Marone, I wonder what he's going to do at the next level, because he did have some hands issues, some consistency issues. 43 receptions for him this year, down from last year, 621 yards, also down from last year. But I think he did a little more for us, and I think that, giving him an opportunity to kind of mentor the young tight ends, that was the main goal coming into this season. Bo Rocky, one of those underrated guys on the defensive line. He was a run stopper. We are graduating 19 seniors. Alec Robinson on the defensive line, a 3-year starter for us as well. He had 15 tackles this year. Maybe took a step back since Sion Okafor left, but still a very productive player in the middle of our defense. Cookie Rockman, our fullback. Jackson, who finally came around here in his senior year. He had almost 600 yards, 5 touchdowns. He's got excellent size. Not sure if he will make it to the next level, though. Adrian Shields was a depth receiver. Billy Johns was a very good punter for us, and I'm pretty sure that he will go to the next level as a punter. Punters are very, very valuable at the NFL level. Pudgy Robbins was our starting right guard for a while. Keon Johnson was a backup left end. But Joseph Crawford Jr. was a 3-year starter. 66 tackles in his sophomore year. He had 33 in back-to-back seasons, but he was just productive. He was also very productive on special teams. I don't want to, gloss over that as well. Then looking at the other guys here, how about Adam Shield, who was just a 1-year starter, but he absolutely went berserk. 47 touchdowns, 9 for loss. It was kind of a different look that we gave this year because we did not have the coverage skills at cornerback, but we did have the tackling skills. Moving Adam Shield from a linebacker over to a cornerback definitely made a difference. So that will bring us straight into recruiting. And I think the main thing that we really want to go after is adding to the defense because we are losing a lot of defensive starters. Now, we have a couple of options. Dale Pitts is a tight end, but seeing what we just had at tight end this past year, I definitely want to add to the defense. So over the offseason, we had some interest in a couple of 4-star prospects. First is Eric Henderson out of Washington. I see what he does well. He is an excellent quarterback, 90 throw power, 80 accuracy, 81 speed, but we just don't need quarterback. I want to go after somebody that we absolutely need. So I decide to remove him from the board and go after Alex Harris. Now, Alex Harris, if we get him, will be renamed because of his caliber. He is 95 speed at cornerback, 84 man, 87 zone. I mean, the guy can absolutely fly, and I don't think there's any question that we should go after him. We've already offered him a scholarship, and I think we should just go all in. It's us versus LSU, so we will see what happens. So we find out Justin Henry, who was locking us out, he goes to South Carolina. Zach Scales commits to CTU, so that is a good sign. We add to that defensive line depth that we just lost a couple of guys to. Corey Jacques. I said I didn't need a quarterback, but Corey Jacques commits as well. So we do have some depth here at quarterback this year. Bashar Bishop Jackson, he ends up going to Colorado. A lot of our custom recruits are going to stay within the state because obviously they're from the state. Dale Pitts, we were close on him. I just wasn't like that high. He ends up going to Colorado State. Matt Dakota ends up going to UNLV. And then we find out that we beat out LSU by over 7,000 points. He commits to our school. He is obviously the top recruit, along with Xavier Roberts and Josh Best. Those three are probably our top guys. We end up with the 91 ranked recruiting class. I also forgot about Ryan Gray, who was an excellent linebacker. So we will see, how these guys slot in. So we move on to training results. We obviously won't be cutting anybody because our roster is at about like 53 guys. I mean, we are just right at the NFL level there. Usually we could carry like 70, and we're not doing that this year. David Potter, overtraining, had an excellent training session. I was hoping that his speed would go up a little bit, but 89 throw power goes up +2. Usually it's only +1. So David Potter should have a pretty good look this year because we are getting a new offensive coordinator. We ended up with the offensive coordinator from Baylor. So we will run with the Baylor playbook this season. Now at running back, Joshua Livenhauser, I'm expecting a huge year from, basically just because I think that with Baylor's offense, we're going to be, spreading out a little bit. There's going to be more lanes open for him. It's going to be better for his future. Darren Baker and Flint Steele are the only returning receivers. And then Stan McDaniels and Clayton Garrett are the only returning tight ends. I mean, we have our work cut out this year, especially with grooming some of our young guys and turning them into who we want them to be in the future, because our senior class was huge. They moved on, and we will have to replace them. Phil Hall, the transfer, goes up +8 in training. So when he does eventually start, he will be ready to play, but obviously not this season. Our offensive line could look shaky again. We have not landed that big offensive line recruit that we have been looking for. That has definitely been our weakest point of the team in this series. How about Mason Stonebreaker, a guy that did not start for us since season number 1? I think he started maybe the whole season, almost the whole season, maybe 3/4 of the season in season 1. Then he lost his spot. But now after training, he's at 90 finesse moves. So we definitely might have to use that as far as getting after the passer. We already know what Smoke Wyatt is and what Smoke Wyatt does. He's going to be our highest overall guy on the team this year. Cornerback is a position that I'm a little worried about, but with the commitment from our 4-star cornerback out of Hawaii, we will be helped out here. And Chris Washington might get the short end of the stick out of this group. Lawrence Young is a transfer, so he won't play this year. Claude Wynn had a pretty good freshman season. I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do in his sophomore campaign. He's up a few points, not too much. Whitley Crew was a big-time contributor as well. He forced a couple of fumbles, a big hitter at the strong safety position. So I am excited for the future of this team. You know, we will have some building to do this year, but who knows? We might just pick up right where we left off last year. Here are the best players at each position. David Potter is an 89 overall quarterback. Joshua Livenhauser, we already know what he is, 92 speed. Bernard will be the backup for him this year. Frankie Law graduated, so no competition right there. Flint Steele will be the highest rated receiver. Xavier Roberts is right behind him at 75 overall. Pretty good speed to start out too as a freshman. Steve Stewart at left tackle will be our starter there. He's a 68 overall tackle. Center is definitely a position we will have to kind of figure out what we're going to do, because Phil Hall is going to be sitting out, and that means that our next guy is 48 overall. But there are some defensive linemen that could play offensive line, like Chad Gray. We might have to move Chad Gray, who is a right end right now, over to center. That is just interesting, playing defensive lineman at the center position. Then on defense, we already know Smoke Wyatt and Nnamdi Ugonna Okafor are going to be our 2 lead backers in the game, and they are probably always going to be in the game, whether it's single middle linebacker, off-ball linebacker, whatever the case may be. I think that we're going to have to, kind of figure out a rotation to get both of them in all the time. I definitely want them to complement each other pretty well. Now, one position I want to point out here is we had a walk-on, Josh Ramsey, at 67 overall. I did not expect this at all. Like, this was, I checked it. So after the training, I checked to see, what was going on, the roster and everything. And what happened was, it's usually when you go to position changes, you can see if a walk-on was a recruit, they would either be 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5-star. He was a no-star. He was a straight walk-on, 67 overall. That's going to be interesting. If this walk-on in year 1, this is the best walk-on I've ever seen at 67 overall. I'm wondering if he will start. Now, JD Lenz will be the cornerback who I renamed our 4-star prospect after, so he will be one of you guys. So all these guys, not all of the recruits, but at least the ones that had the Y next to their name, those are the subscriber recruits. But JD Lenz was also a subscriber recruit, so he will play on the left side of the field as a starter, as a freshman. I will test him today and see what he does in practice. But right now, I just want to kind of evaluate how our team looks with this Baylor playbook. That's definitely going to be a kind of a huge step forward, because like I said, I do not change the playbook at all. I change it once every 2 years, so we will stick with the Baylor playbook for at least 2 seasons and see how it goes. But I just want to see how this offense looks. No more Kentrell Craft, no more Mike Marone. That's going to be interesting. I don't know what our receiving core is going to look like. Xavier Roberts is a freshman. He can fly, but we'll see where we put him. We might have to put him in the slot more than often. But Flint Steele is an excellent, excellent slot receiver. We saw that last year. But here is one of our freshman impact players getting in there for the sack right there. I can't wait to see what all these guys end up doing. Livenhauser out of the backfield, coming back for his sophomore year, obviously. And here is David Potter at quarterback. A little shaky in practice, but it's expected. The defense is just going to be way ahead of the offense. I'm just trying a couple of throws here and seeing what Potter can do. I'm not sure who will be an impact player this year. I think it could be the freshman Xavier Roberts because of his speed. If we get him out with screens and all of that stuff, we will see what he can do. But on defense, I really want to check out J.D. Lenz one-on-one with Xavier Roberts. They both have excellent speed, and this time Roberts gets the best of them. But Lenz has excellent speed, and excellent size as a quarterback. But here is the play of the scrimmage here, and it comes by way of J.D. Lenz. Here is Juan Macklin down the left sideline. Look who gives chase. It's J.D. Lenz. That 95 speed. Look at where he's at on this play. Guarding Darren Baker. He has to come all the way back on the other side of the field. Look at the angle that he takes. This is a game changer because if we have speed on the outside, a lot of other teams' best receivers can't really play with us. It's going to be interesting. I decided to try to test him some more to see how he would react, and he was very, very good. I think that this guy could be a big-time baller for us, could lead our team in interceptions. James Wilkins is still on the right side, but I think that J.D. Lenz is going to be a definite game changer for this defense. You just see him in coverage. It's blanketed coverage. So here is David Potter just trying to go deep off of J.D. Lenz. There is his first interception of the practice. And now I decide to move the ball a little closer and see what we can do here. And Flint Steele, I just don't know if I can move him out of the slot. He is just so good in that position. And that's kind of how practice went. We were just kind of trying to get familiar with how our team looked without Kentrell, without Mike Marone. And we're definitely going to have some growing pains, especially with the new playbook, but we'll see how that goes. So we did make changes to our conference. We decided to add Louisiana, who is in that national championship, because I've noticed that they're in a weak conference and we need to get them some more competition. So they will be added, and we will just scramble around some of the teams in our conference so that our schedule changes, because if you stay in the same spot, you pretty much have the same schedule every year. So we will just shuffle some teams around, balance out the powers a little bit. And here's our schedule coming into season number 4. We will open it up versus Colorado State. We've had a bunch of custom recruits go to Colorado State. And then week 3, we will play against J.J. Hollinson, who is the new head coach of Missouri. This will be interesting because they have the number 1, at least, quarterback going into the season in the country right now. So he goes into a great situation at QB. And they also have one of the top freshman running backs. So their offense is going to be electric right away in season number 1. Our conference schedule looks a little different. We get to play Louisiana actually at the end of the year, so that will be a lot of fun. That game is on the road. So that will do it here at the end of the off season. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know who you think is going to be our biggest impact guy going into season number 4. And in my estimation, I think Livenhauser is going to have the big breakout season that everybody wants him to have. I think that running the football is going to be a lot easier. Like I said, we're going to be spreading the ball out, running the ball from the shotgun, a lot of spread looks. And I want to see who's going to really emerge as a receiver as well. Flint Steele could be at the top of that list. Darren Baker's obviously a playmaker, 6'6" with great speed. But that's going to do it here. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hit subscribe, hit that like button, stay tuned. Let's get it. Let's go.
I like getting money, I got time to get it. Target on me, so my car's a tenant. Dancing with the devil, I don't bargain with it. Bobbing in the dash, and the stick is with it. And I hit the 4-5 on the west side. But I'm from the east side, this how we slide. This how we ride, yeah, this how we ride.